Most adventures begins with a restless youth on a quiet dock, looking toward the horizon for a reason to leave. Arin spends his days searching the shoreline. In this quiet village, he feels out of place, as if the purpose of his life is waiting somewhere beyond the surf. Eventually, the ocean delivers an answer, a salt-frosted glass bottle containing a map. The difference between his current life and his potential future is stark. His village is static and gray, while the ink on this map moves like liquid gold under the light of the sun. Arin chooses the map. He waits until nightfall, creeping across the floorboards to avoid waking his parents before slipping out into the dark. He unties his boat in silence. Behind him, the warm orange of the village lanterns begins to fade, replaced by the deep, cold blue of the midnight water. As the wind fills his sail, the journey raises a question. We have to wonder if Arin is truly sailing toward a destiny, or if he is simply running away from the only home he has ever known. The romantic dream of the open sea disappears almost immediately. Once the shoreline vanishes, Arin is left with nothing but the mounting dread of the empty horizon. A sudden storm brings a brutal reality check. 20-foot walls of water tower over his boat, illuminated by jagged flashes of lightning that show just how small he really is. Arin is soaked and shivering, his hair plastered to his forehead. He spends the night white-knuckled, gripping a rope just to stay on the deck. The isolation is physical and mental. He begins talking to himself in the dark, using the sound of his own voice to stay awake and focused. The open water highlights the danger of his situation. Every crashing wave reminds him that he has no one to lean on but himself, and his survival depends entirely on his own endurance. The threat shifts from the weather to something much larger. A bioluminescent shape passes beneath the boat, and a massive, glowing eye stares up through the dark water. Traditional stories suggest the hero should reach for a sword or discover a hidden power to slay the beast. Arin doesn't have a weapon. Instead, he remembers a legend from the village elders. The deep fears the light of the brave. He lights his old oil lantern. It flares a brilliant blue-white, and the Leviathan, a creature of scales and shadow, recoils from the glow and dives back into the abyss. It is a moment of heavy irony. Arin survives the unknown deep by relying on the very community wisdom he tried to leave behind. By trusting in that lore, Arin changes his approach to the journey. He carries the knowledge of his home with him into the dark, using it as his primary defense. The ocean becomes a mirror, perfectly flat and still. Arin reaches the shattered isles, finding black obsidian pillars that guard a sunken treasury of gold and ancient statues. This schematic shows the physical reality of the boat. Every gold coin has weight, and the Sparrow has a strict payload limit. As Arin adds gold to the hold, the waterline rises to a dangerous level. He is forced to leave the jewel-encrusted crowns and statues behind, taking only what the boat can carry without sinking. The physical limitation of the boat forces a change in perspective. With space for only a few bags, every piece of gold he chooses has to justify its place in the whole. Arin's return is the opposite of his departure. He sails into the docks in broad daylight, calling out to the villagers rather than sneaking through the shadows. The gold goes toward the community. The rotting wooden docks are replaced with sturdy stone, and families who lost their livelihoods to the sea are given new, reliable boats. Years later, Arin stands on a stone balcony overlooking a thriving harbor. He still wears the simple linen of a sailor, even as he watches the village flourish behind him. Arin's story ends where it began, but the landscape is transformed. He found his treasure, and the result is a village that is healthy, stable, and secure.